Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a brand new edition of the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mehrob Fatemi. We have a packed show lined up for you guys today. We had at least one shocking outcome. The other one still being a great game. Hold on here. Let's stop that buffering you guys are seeing. Sorry about that. But we had at least one shocking outcome last night, if not two. Sorry, guys. Alrighty, guys. I think we're back. I think we took care of the buffering. Everything should be much better. Everything should run much smoother from here on out. I'm sorry that was right off the get go. It was just buffering, and I couldn't see myself. I bet you guys could not see me. But right back to what I was saying. We had a packed slate of NBA games last night, starting with the Boston Celtics, of course, blowing another 20-point lead, going down 2-0, shockingly going down 2-0. Two games in Boston, dropping both of those, and the New York Knicks have taken a 2-0 lead now, going back to New York, have taken a commanding lead, and have all the momentum. And the Boston Celtics, a team that a lot of people had possibly going to the NBA Finals, is now on the brink of elimination. Game 3 is a must-win game. Going down 3-0 is nobody's ever come back from 3-0, so if they lose on Saturday night, that'll be the end of the series. But for now, this is what we got. The New York Knicks taking care of the Boston Celtics, going up 2-0 last night. We'll recap all those games, talk a little bit about Jason Tatum and how everything transpired the way it has in Boston as well as in New York. The other game, still a crazy game, do not get me wrong, just much less competitive, let's say. The Oklahoma City Thunder coming out, blowing the doors off of the Denver Nuggets right out of the get-go. Denver had no chance in this game. Scoring the most points in NBA history in a half. Just overall, it was not close. From start to finish, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander having a phenomenal game. Jokic trying his best to will his team back into this game, but getting into foul trouble early and not being able to cap it off. We'll discuss everything about this game, how the Thunder were able to do this, and are the Oklahoma City Thunder officially the number one threat or the number one favorite to win the NBA championship. We'll discuss everything about that game, as well as discuss what to expect moving forward in this series as it shifts gears back over to Denver, tied at one game apiece. From there, quickly, we'll talk a little bit about Steph Curry, his injury he sustained on Friday night, or on Tuesday night. Give a little bit of an injury update on him. Preview the series preview game 2 between the T-Wolves and the Warriors later tonight as well. And then to close out the show, got to talk about my main man, Shaquille O'Neal. He's not my main man. He probably doesn't even know who I am. But Shaquille O'Neal coming out, agreeing to be the next general manager for Sacramento State's basketball program, bringing in new high-class recruits and beyond. It's a phenomenal achievement for Shaquille O'Neal. We know he's an ambassador for the game of basketball. He continues to grow the sport, continues to give back to the sport as they helped him grow into the sport. He's helping give back to the younger generation. And this is his next step. There have already been reports on some 5-star recruits transferring over to Sacramento now, so we'll discuss a little bit about that and see just what is this, how does this all shake out in the NCAA basketball field. So, packed show lined up for you guys today, and we'll get into everything. But before I move any further, I'd like to remind you guys to please like and follow the show for more GSMC Sports Network content. Also, we get a number of questions for viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on air, ask that you use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so I see it, and it also really helps out the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net for all your questions and comments. But let's get right back into it here. It was the longest intro of all time. We had to deal with some technical difficulties, but now we're here. Top of the show, first segment. And as much as this hurts me, because I am a Celtics fan, we have to show the news. We got to tell the news as we saw it last night. We have to explain the facts to all the New York Knicks fans. First and foremost, congratulations to you guys. 2 massive wins. I know one of my best friends is a New York Knicks fan, and all I could do in the moment after the Celtics blew the lead, after Tatum fumbled that last possession of the game, I just looked over at him and I just said congratulations, and I shook his hand. That is all we can do as Celtics fans right now. All we can do is we're all upset, we're all angry, this is one of the most painful days of Celtics basketball that I could think of. Because these were 2 games that the Celtics had in the palm of their hands. 2 of them. Both of them 20-point leads going into the fourth quarter. Both of them going down to the last possession. Game 1 going to overtime. Game 2, you had the ball in your hands as time expires. But let's break this down. Bro, I keep turning off these games thinking it's over and these teams keep coming back. I know, Andre, it's crazy. It's crazy. I did that in game 1. I couldn't do that in game 2 between the Celtics and Knicks. I did it in game 1. I couldn't do it in game 2. But if we're going to look through this, we got to look through it properly. Major props to Mikal Bridges coming back and getting hot in that fourth quarter. Major props to Josh Hart. This team is reminding me of the 18 Rockets living in... We're going to get to that because I've said this before. Actually, I'll just say it now. I'm so happy you said that. I won't forget. The Boston Celtics right now, this is the Joe Mazzulla. Tell me if I'm wrong, Andre, but the Joe Mazzulla system reminds me so much of the Mike D'Antoni system back in the day. We heard everybody talk about it. It's not that they don't shoot too many threes. They just said, oh, we're not shooting enough threes. We got to get more wing guys. We got to build the team around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Keep shooting threes. Just make it the best, highest percentage shot on the floor. They didn't learn from the Rockets back in the day. They didn't learn from Steph Curry in 2016. They didn't learn from Oklahoma City in 2015. And here we are. I've said this before many times. Joe Mazzulla reminds me so much of the Mike D'Antoni Houston Rockets. The team with Ime Udoka would be unstoppable. Yeah, I know, man. Like, 2022 was one of the best years, one of my favorite Celtics years, and seeing that team go from the grit, the grind that team had, the poise, going through adversity, like they were the ones coming back from leads, or coming back from leads. The other team was blowing leads. So now the script has just been flipped on us. But yeah, the X factor in this one was Karl-Anthony Towns. 21 points, 17 rebounds for Karl-Anthony Towns. And the reason for that is Peyton like I mentioned in the preview yesterday, it's about Kristaps Porzingis. Kristaps Porzingis, whether he's playing hurt, whether he's playing sick, I have no idea what's going on with Porzingis. We saw him in game 1. He got pulled in the second half. Joe Mazzulla benched him. Even last night, he came off the bench. I've never seen Kristaps Porzingis come off the bench unless he's injured, unless he's sick. And he's playing like he is. He's playing like he's hobbled. Either he's hobbled or Karl-Anthony Towns is showing up like the second coming of Karl Malone and just giving him the business every time in the low post. Something I've never seen Karl-Anthony Towns do. Karl-Anthony Towns is one of those players, at least in my time of watching him, he's one of the... Do I really want... on a day that Karl-Anthony Towns does well, I don't really want to trash him, but Karl-Anthony Towns is known as a shooting big man. He's not the guy with his back against the basket, using his footwork, trying to get to the low post. We saw him have trouble with Jalen Duren against the Detroit Pistons. The reason he had success in games 3 and 4 is because he was using his shot. He was shooting the ball ridiculously. If you guys remember the shot behind the basket with 3 minutes to play in game 4, the honestly, he did it 3 or 4 times, shooting it from 40 feet away, way beyond the 3-point arc with 3 minutes left to go in games. He did it in games 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is what Karl-Anthony Towns does. He's a shooting guy. He does not play with his back against the basket most of the time until now. For whatever reason, he's figured out how to do it now, and it's paying dividends out for this New York Knicks team. So, yeah, major props to Karl-Anthony Towns for him stepping up and playing at a high level. And yeah, the Knicks going on a 21-4 run in the fourth quarter. The Celtics not being able to score a basket for 6-7 minutes for a 6-7 minute stretch. The New York Knicks with Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson not being able to miss a shot from 3-point range over that period. There was a lot to do with how the Knicks came back in this game. And I thought with how the Celtics were playing, every time, they were demolishing the Knicks in this game. 2/3 of this game, up until midway through the third quarter, they were obliterating. It looked like this was going to be a 20, 25, 30-point win. Like a casual one like we saw in the regular season from the Boston Celtics. And for the script to be flipped the way it has, the way New York has fought back in this series, and the way Jason Tatum has crumbled in this series. And this is the last thing I want to say about this, because I don't know if there's going to be any time after I'm done talking about this. Jason Tatum, over the last 2 fourth quarters combined, just listen to these stats for me. 6 points, 0 for 11 from the field, 0 for 9 from 3-point range. 2 fourth quarters combined. And you're supposed to be a superstar talent on an NBA team. This is the Jason Tatum that has shown up in games 1 and game 2. This is the Jason Tatum that for some reason has forgotten how to shoot the basketball when your team needs you most, when your team is blowing, when the other team is getting hot, gaining confidence, and you need a bucket. The Cavs have Donovan Mitchell. The Thunder have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Nuggets have Nikola Jokic. The Pacers have Tyrese Halliburton. The Knicks have Jalen Brunson. I think I said that. If we want to keep going down the list, I can. Every team has a closeout score. The teams that didn't have closeout score, even if you wanted to look at the Magic, they had Paolo. Even if you want to look at the Pistons, they had Cade Cunningham. Even if you want to look, maybe the team that didn't have that is the Houston Rockets. And where is the Houston Rockets right now? They're home. The Warriors sent them home in 7 games. The Knicks, this is the second round in the NBA playoffs. You had your warm-up round against the Orlando Magic. That Magic series was supposed to be a sweep, or at least 5 games. I think it did end in 5 games, actually. But still, this series should have ended. That series should have ended early. And regardless of what happened, you won it, whatever. But this is a Celtics team that is not playing well at all. And there are teams that have come back from 2-0 down, but 80% of teams that go up 2-0 win the series. It might be the stat might be higher than that, actually. 80% does not sound right. I don't know what the exact stat is, but dropping both of your games at home, going down 2-0, going back on the road to New York, you're an experienced championship level team. But come on, man. And one last thing before this segment has gone on so long already. But one last thing before I close out this segment. We have to discuss Joe Mazzulla at another time more extensively. If the Celtics lose this series, Joe Mazzulla is getting fired. Simple. Plain and simple. This was one of the weakest teams. This is one of the weakest 2 games I've seen in my time watching the Boston. I don't want to say this is the equivalent of 2024 when the Celtics were down 3-0 against the Miami Heat. Even then, Miami outplayed us in the first 3 games, but every game was close. It wasn't blowout. It wasn't blown leads. It wasn't choking. It wasn't this. This is pure choking, and this is something I've never seen from the Celtics team. This is something I never expected to see from a star-studded championship caliber Celtics team. And Joe Mazzulla, this is not the first time. Game 1, you had a timeout in your back pocket with 15 seconds to play. In overtime, you decide not to use it. You decide not to use it until there's 3 seconds left in the game. Once again, today or yesterday, you had 12 seconds left on the clock. Jalen Brunson makes 2 free throws. You have a timeout in your back pocket to advance the ball. Your team is struggling to score the basketball, to muster any offense. And you say, oh, no, they'll be fine. Push them out there. What are you doing? What are you doing? Your team is struggling to shoot, to score any offense, to get anything going offensively. You're sputtering. You have a timeout in your back pocket. You have an opportunity to draw a play up, get the ball into Jason Tatum's hand in a clean and concise fashion, organized play. Instead, you get Jason Tatum that dribbles the ball up with 12 seconds left, goes into an ISO situation, puts the ball into a corner, gets triple covered, and then the game is over. You don't even get an opportunity to score the basketball. There was a lot of things wrong with this game. That shot took me over the top with this team. But Joe Mazzulla, you are on the hot seat right now, my friend. If you do not clean this up, you better force a Game 7, and that Game 7 better come down to the last possession. Because if you blow another series lead, your job will be done by the end of this year. And I don't think you're coming back from this series if you blow another lead. The Knicks can win another game, and I already think if you're going to win, you're probably going to go 7. But, oh my God, last night drove me up a wall and parked me on the cliff's edge, because that was one of the worst roller coaster rides I don't ever want to be a part of ever again as a fan of a basketball team. That was the longest segment I've ever done on this show. I'm so sorry about that. With the technical difficulties, I decided to extend it a little bit longer. But I'm going to take a short break. Coming up next, I'm going to take a look at the Oklahoma City Thunder blowing out the Denver Nuggets in Oklahoma City. We're going to talk a little bit about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, what happened, how some broken records that the Oklahoma City Thunder did, breaking the halftime record with 87 points in the first half. And, we'll discuss all about that game and recap the entire game. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on their fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows with 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mehrob Fatemi. Getting into our next segment here, we're going to talk a little bit about the Oklahoma City Thunder blowing out the Denver Nuggets. And honestly, I felt bad for the Denver Nuggets because they did not play particularly bad. We'll discuss a little bit about that, but the Thunder, plain and simple, could not miss. They could not miss throughout this game. They blew the lead all the way up to 40 points in the third quarter, having over 100 points midway through the third quarter. There's nothing you can do against that unless you have... No, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say unless you have the current boss Celtics team, but even then, we know they can't even hold leads. So never mind, they can go up to 100 points in a game in third quarter. So this is the state of the NBA right now, and everything is up for a loop. And the only consistent thing that's really been going on is the Oklahoma City Thunder, taking care of business time and time again. Even game one, it came down to a buzzer beater shot, a buzzer beater three from Aaron Gordon to put the Nuggets over the top. And yeah, the Thunder heard all the noise and came back and punched the Nuggets with the biggest haymaker they had early on that the Thunder couldn't come back from, or that the Nuggets couldn't come back from. So we'll recap everything about this game and talk a little bit about the broken records in this game. But before I move any further, I'd like to remind you guys to please like and follow the show for more GSMC Sports Network content. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask that you use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so I see it, and it also really helps out the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net for all your questions and comments. And I've said it before, you guys are a big part of what we do here at the GSMC Sports Network. Let us know what we're doing well. Let us know if you have any questions in the comment section. And I love all of these comments, by the way, because it makes the show much more interactive, makes it much less of me talking to myself. I love informing you guys and letting you guys know about the facts, but get my brain thinking. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Let us know what you wanted to hear more of, and we'll continue to build our shows around you guys and what you guys want to hear. Thank you guys as well for all the support as always. But getting right back into the NBA world, we had honestly a massive win for the Thunder, a much needed win for the Thunder through and through. And that's all that really can be said about this one. The Oklahoma City Thunder absolutely blowing out the Denver Nuggets in game two. And it was a game that the Denver Nuggets never really had a chance in. Plain and simple. 149 to 106 being the final score. And yeah, this game was over quick, fast, and in a hurry, if we're being honest. The Thunder finishing the first half with 87 points. An NBA playoff record for points and a half. They were on pace for literally 160 to 180 points. At that level, who is beating your team? Who? I'm all ears. I don't even think the 2017 Golden State Warriors could win that game last night with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry on the team. So, major props to the Thunder. Wow. Eight Oklahoma City Thunder players getting into double figures last night. One of them with a double-double and Chet Holmgren with 11 rebounds. Just an all-around crazy game. Crazy stat sheet from the Thunder. And yeah, this team could not miss. Plain and simple. Shooting 44% from three, 56% from the field. When you have almost over double the turnovers that the Thunder had, you're not going to win that game. The Thunder with 12 steals in this one. They were active on both sides of the ball, and they were everywhere. I turned this game off shortly after halftime, but yeah, this game was not close, unfortunately. The Jokic trying to do the best he could, willing his team back with 17 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Quieter stat line from Nikola Jokic, but he also did get in foul trouble early on, fouling out of the game in the third quarter. That's what happens. When you're down in a game, you get aggressive, you try and drive to the paint more often, and it was really the play of the Oklahoma City Thunder drawing offensive fouls, getting the Denver Nuggets into situations they didn't want to be in, and beyond. Shout out to Russell Westbrook. He was the leading scorer for this Denver Nuggets team, a guy that continues to play well in his alma mater, the place where he built his career in Oklahoma City. And the fan base, we saw it in Game 1, giving him a standing ovation as he stepped onto the court, as he subbed into a game. Overall, it's nice to see that the local Oklahoma City fans rejoice him, remember him, and he's a legend in Oklahoma City. So absolutely, it's nice to see that they remember him the way that they do. But yeah, this is more about the Oklahoma City Thunder playing at a level that a lot of teams cannot compare at. There's a reason why this team is known as the favorites to win the Western Conference and win the NBA championship. But I think it was a little bit of a close race between the Thunder, the Celtics, and the Cavs to start these playoffs. With the Cavs falling down 2-0 against the Indiana Pacers, that's taken a hit. The Celtics falling down 2-0, that's taken a hit. The only team that's still hanging on, even though losing Game 1, to play like this in a Game 2 really solidifies you as the favorite to win the NBA championship, I'd say. Overall, I don't think the series is over one bit. I think the Nuggets still have an opportunity to win this series. Going back to Denver, if they can hold the Thunder off shooting-wise, if they can play some better defense down the stretch, I think they'll be in a good spot. But that's a big if, of course. It really is. Because this Thunder team can play defense, they can score the ball. When you have a team like the Nuggets that's really top-heavy with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, outside of him, you need a guy like an Aaron Gordon to step up. You need a guy like Michael Porter Jr., who's really struggled in this series to step up. You need Christian Braun to have more than 3 points in a Game 2. You need Russell Westbrook to continue to play at a high level in Denver if he can off the bench. This is what you need if the Nuggets want to even have an opportunity to make this a series once again. And I think they can, but I think this series goes at least 6 games. I think the Nuggets win at least one more game. But the Thunder are one of the best teams in the league. They're one of the most overpowered teams in the league. They're one of the best all-around teams. And this is a roster. Sam Presti, the GM of the executive for the Oklahoma City Thunder, not only has won the Executive of the Year award in 2025. It's well-deserved. But he might be one of the best executives in NBA history because this is one of the best rosters, one of the most underrated rosters, all-around best rosters I've seen in a long time from an NBA team. If the Thunder can win the NBA championship this year, shutting down all the haters, calling them young, calling them that it's not their time yet, this and that, this, that, and the other. I said it too. I thought they were going to be young. I thought they were one piece away offensively. But the way this team comes together, offensively, is able to defend as a group defensively, plays with poise, keeps their foot on the gas for 48 minutes. The way they're able to play in team basketball the way they do, and they still have the MVP in the league. But outside of him, they have a very young team. They have Chet Holmgren, they have Lou Dort, Alex Caruso's a vet, Isaiah Hartenstein is a younger player. You have Isaiah Joe. You have Jalen Williams. This is a very, very young team in Oklahoma City right now, and they're brewing something up to be great for the next 5 to 7 years, most likely. That is how good this team is going to be if they can keep their core together for the years to come. So major props to them, winning Game 2 in decisive fashion, really, really shutting down all the criticism against them from the Grizzlies series to Game 1 in general. Decisive win, they needed it, and this series shifts back to Denver now, tied at 1 game apiece, as the next Game 3 will be a pivotal game for who gains momentum as this series draws on. But I'm going to take one more short break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. These next two segments are going to be a little bit interesting. This is something I haven't done yet, and I'm going to divide the preview for this game tonight. This game between the Golden State Warriors and Minnesota Timberwolves, it's pretty much the same as the Pacers and the Cavs. If the Timberwolves go down 2-0, I think the series is over. If the Warriors can win, if the Timberwolves can win and tie it at one game apiece going to Golden State, I don't like Golden State. This is a big game for Golden State. Without Steph Curry in this game being ruled out, and let's discuss. I'm going to take a short break, and when we come back, there's a lot to unpack with this one. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't touch that dial.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mehrob Fatemi. Getting into our next segment here, we're going to talk a little bit about the Golden State Warriors, specifically Steph Curry, his injury, and what it means to this Warriors team, and preview their angle for tonight's game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, because this is such a pivotal game. I decided to split these two teams up and give each of them their respective segments to discuss not only this game, but moving forward into the series as the series draws on. I guess we have to start with Steph Curry. Not even I guess, because this is something that this isn't really, I wouldn't call it a narrative, but this is something that needs to be discussed in Golden State right now. If I'm the Golden State Warriors, if I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, I'm pretty afraid for the Warriors as the series draws on. Steph Curry being ruled with a grade 1 hamstring strain at the moment. An injury, one of those nagging injuries. One of those injuries that a lot of people, when they get them, they are out for at least a week time. Steph Curry is going to be out for Game 2, and Game 3. Whether he's out for the rest of the series, that's yet to be seen. It's going to be interesting to see how Steph Curry is able to come back, if he's able to come back in this series. But that is why tonight's game is even more vital. And honestly, all of these games are so... I think tonight specifically is incredibly vital. If the Warriors win this game tonight, I think they have an opportunity to win this series. If they lose tonight and they if they split in Minnesota going back to Golden State, and they lose both of those games in Golden State, which they very easily could, the Warriors could be in a tough position. So, if we're looking at this team right now, let's think back to before the trade deadline. Let's think back to when Steph Curry had his back injury. Without Steph Curry in the lineup, the Warriors have a losing record, plain and simple. I don't know exactly what it is off the top of my head, but I know they're one of the worst. They had a very bad record in the regular season without Steph Curry in the lineup. Now that they have Jimmy Butler on the team since the trade deadline, you have Buddy Hield that's kind of prospering right now. You have Brandon Podziemski, who can be a sneaky number 3 for this team. You have guys around Steph Curry and around this Warriors team that can excel and shoot the ball and score the basketball in general. But Steph Curry is the engine that runs this team. You maybe can win one game, but you're not going to win the series without Steph Curry in the lineup. If you can win this game tonight, you at least force a game 6. And I mean this, I'm saying this tonight, like tonight could be the end all be all, but I mean that moving forward as well. I mean tonight just because of the momentum that you would have going back to Golden State. If you lose tonight, you not only lose a lot of momentum, you lose a lot of confidence, I'd say. But depending on how you lose tonight. And if you can win tonight, of course, you keep the momentum going, you keep the confidence in your team going, but you also have more of an opportunity for Steph Curry to come back as the series continues to draw on. That is the thing that is the point that I want to hit home in this argument. That is, if you're the Warriors, you are looking long term. You are not looking at this game. You are not looking in the immediate future. You're not looking in the next 3 games. You're looking at the next 4, 5, 6 games, because that is how crucial these games can be. That is how crucial Steph Curry is in the lineup, especially in a game 6 or in a game 7. But Steph Curry runs this team offensively. He is a big reason why they finished the season. Well, they finished the season with the record that they had, with the success that they had. He's a big reason why he kept the team afloat before the trade deadline. And it's a big reason why they brought Jimmy Butler in to give Steph Curry some help. But for a nagging injury like a hamstring, I could predict this team being without Steph Curry for the next till at least game 4. Game 4 at the earliest, if not game 5 back in Minnesota. I think that's more of a realistic timetable. If we're going to look at the doctor, you could say he's not going to come back in the series, or he's not going to come back till game 6 or game 7. But I think from the Steph Curry that I've seen come out and play these last few years, he'll be out in game 2. He'll be out in game 3. But I would be shocked if he's not out there by game 4 or game 5. Because that's a Steph Curry I know. That is when we'll hear more of an update on his injury, and we'll have more of a realistic timeline as the series continues to draw on. But of course, you need to keep your Warriors team afloat. You need to give Steph Curry a chance. You can't put him in the 3-1 hole and ask him, "Oh, hey man, come out, help us out, man." You can't just say, "Hey, can you come out and help us? We need a guy to help us we need another offensive scorer. We're down 3-1 though. We need you to carry us." Look, you're not going to get that Steph Curry. Sure, he'll come out and play. He'll give it his all, but you're giving him almost no chance to win. Tonight is a pivotal game. I'm looking at Mr. Batman, Mr. Robin and Butler himself, Robin and Alfred themselves, and Buddy Hield and Jimmy Butler right now. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Those clips are absolutely hilarious. They're all over the internet right now. I was laughing last night watching the post game from game 1 when Jimmy Butler is saying, "Hey man, you're a shooter. You're not a cutter. Get out of my space. Let me be able to drive to the basket. You cutting into my space is not allowing me to get to the basket." And Buddy Hield's like, "All right, man, whatever you say." And they're just going back and forth in the press conference. It's hilarious. These are two players. This is the happiest I've seen Buddy Hield play in a playoff game in his career, I'd say. He's usually always got smiles. He's always one of the more competitive players. But Buddy Hield has played on a lot of bad teams. Was with the Kings for a while. Went to Philly, struggled in Philly even though they made the playoffs. They lost in Boston. They lost to Boston in 2023 in 7 games. This is the best we've seen this is the best we've seen Buddy Hield play in the playoffs, and this is the happiest we've seen him play, I'd say. With the most passion, the most joy. The guys around him, they all embrace him. Everybody plays with confidence. They play team-style basketball, unlike the Boston Celtics. And Jimmy Butler looks unbelievable right now. Whether you want to call Jimmy Butler Robin, whether you want to call him Alfred the Butler because his last name is Butler. This is a fun team to watch, no doubt. And I think with how they're playing, with the confidence that they're playing with, Draymond Green playing at a high level, with Gary Payton II playing actively on the defensive end of the ball, I think they have an opportunity. They still have an opportunity. And if they can win this game tonight, I think it could turn the tide of the series. I think they need to win either tonight or game 3 to avoid getting into a hole. If you go down 2-1 into a game 4, unless Steph Curry comes back, you're in a little bit of a tough spot. And on paper, you can say that's what you should expect. But I think that would spell defeat for the Warriors. Unless you get Steph Curry back, like I said, can win game 4, get it back to 2-2 going back to Minnesota. That is the only scenario that if you go down 2-1 that it goes well. So, yeah, that's the scenario. That's a situation in Golden State right now. Without Steph Curry, this team could be shot in the water, but let's see how that all plays out. Let's see how their team chemistry gets it going. Let's see what Steve Kerr schemes up. He's one of the best coaches in the league. He can win a team games. He needs to win one game. If he can win one game, I think they're okay. I really do think they'll be fine. Win 2 games, force a game 6, get Steph Curry back, even if you're down 3-2 going into game 6. Get Steph Curry back in the lineup and see what happens. That's the best. You just need to win one of the next 2 games. Plain and simple. But I'm going to take another short break. When we come back, we're going to switch gears. We talked about the Warriors tonight in a pivotal game 2. Let's switch gears over to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Take a look at them. Take a look at the keys, what happened to them in game 1, and as well as moving forward into the series, what to look forward with the Minnesota Timberwolves. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry about that. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mehrob Fatemi. Getting into our next segment here, we're going to talk a little bit about the Minnesota Timberwolves, discussing their game 2 tonight, as well as the rest of the keys to what happened in game 1 and what they can learn from to bring into game 2 tonight. And yeah, overall, the keys. We're going to preview the rest of game 2 later tonight. First and foremost, I think we have to announce the elephant in the... Well, there's 2 elephants in the room. We can start with Anthony. Let's start with Anthony. Let's start with the team. Sorry. In the last 2 games, from game 5 to game 1, from game 5 against the Lakers to game 1 against the Golden State Warriors, the Minnesota Timberwolves are shooting 12 of 76 from three-point range. It's an NBA record. Well, I hope it's an NBA record, unless the Celtics just broke that. So I have no idea. But over the last 2 games, this was before game 2 happened last night for the Celtics. I don't know exactly what the record is now, but that was a record in the NBA playoffs. And that was announced by journalists in a press conference. If you guys can find that press conference, you're going to see Anthony Edwards looking like this. Just shocked. Shell-shocked. Does not know what he's looking at. Did not know that he had to be... You could just see it on his face. His body language just saying, come again? You said what? We're down... We shot what percentage? So I'm guessing I think his name's Allen. Coach Finch will have his team ready to go. He's probably having his guys just shooting threes all practice long these last 2 days. Anthony Edwards, that's the next elephant in the room. You had a great second half. Do not get me wrong. 22 points in the second half, really turning it on, making the game close, trying to get within striking range for your team to possibly go on a comeback streak in the second half. But Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, superstar. 1 point in the first half. 1. Anthony Edwards, you are a superstar in this league. I'm giving him the same treatment that I gave to Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum deserves worse treatment than you because you have played better than him throughout these playoffs. You had that 43-point game against the Lakers in Game 4. You still had a great game in Game 1. It's just that first half was a struggle for you, but you really came back in the second half and made amends for it. Please figure it out because the Minnesota Timberwolves need you tonight, especially. If you go down 2-0 in this series, going back to Golden State, regardless of if Steph Curry's in the lineup or not, you're giving Steph Curry an opportunity to come back and smoke you guys again. Because I don't know about you guys, but the Steph Curry that I saw come out in the first 2 quarters of Game 1 was smoking you. He had 13 points in 13 minutes. If he plays at that level and is able to score at that clip, you guys have a long series ahead of you guys if you guys are playing at that level. So these games are crucial without Steph Curry in the lineup for you guys. I'm talking to Naz Reid. I'm talking to Jaden McDaniels. Of course, Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle. Julius Randle, the guy that showed up against the Lakers and looked like a legit number 2 option, looked like he was having a comeback playoffs. This is the same Julius Randle that shot brick after brick in Game 1. Come on, man. We know the level you can play at. We know how good you are. Play at that level. Get your guys ready to go and be a difference maker on your team. If this team can win these next 2 games, well, it depends on if Steph Curry comes back in Game 4. But if you guys can win tonight, you can win. If you guys can win tonight in Game 2, can win Game 3, and depending on if Steph Curry comes back in Game 4 or not, if you can win Game 4 without Steph, you're pretty much win this series. I think. I don't think this Warriors team can come back and win 3 out of 4. That's just my take on it. But that's like you hold all the cards. Plain and simple. You hold the cards, you hold the keys to the kingdom. If Anthony Edwards can step up tonight, I expect him to have a bounce back game. I would not be shocked if we saw that 35-point Anthony Edwards performance, the vintage Anthony Edwards performance that we've seen many times before. But we need to see it. This is the night to show up and show out. This is the night to bring out that Anthony Edwards because they need you. Minnesota needs you. The Timberwolves need you. Your teammates need you. So, yeah, that's my take on it. I discussed a little bit about the Warriors side of things. I didn't really discuss about how they can win Game 2. If we want to touch on that a little bit, it's going to come down to the shooting of Buddy Hield. It's going to come down to the playmaking of Jimmy Butler and the scheming of Steve Kerr to get his team ready to go. I think the Warriors have an opportunity to win tonight. I'm picking the Timberwolves. I'm picking Anthony Edwards to go ballistic. I'm picking Jaden McDaniels to have a comeback game to guard up Jimmy Butler pretty tightly. And I would not be shocked if the Timberwolves win this one pretty decisively. The Timberwolves, they're still one of the best teams in the NBA. They deserve the respect. They deserve respect. I don't know. Give them respect that they deserve. And moving forward, they'll win game 2, and then moving forward, every game becomes a toss-up once again. Game 3 is a major toss-up between these two teams, and whoever wins could win the series, really. Because if the Warriors win, you get Steph Curry back, and you have more of an opportunity to win the series. If the Timberwolves win, depending if they win game 4 as well, they'll be in the driver's seat in this series to move on to the conference finals for the second time in back-to-back years. But major props to them. And the Timberwolves have their hands full. They have to win tonight. Let's see if they can do it. I'm picking them to do it by 5 to 10 points. Anthony Edwards goes ballistic. Rudy Gobert has a double-double. And Julius Randle has a nice 15 to 20-point game. Plays well. Has a comeback shooting night. And the Timberwolves win this one pretty decisively. Yeah. I'll have more time. I'll have more to recap about this game in tomorrow's show as well. But coming up next, I'm going to take one last short break. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at actually college basketball. We're going to switch gears over to Sacramento State, who came in the news recently talking about Shaquille O'Neal becoming the general manager for Sacramento State. We're going to talk a little bit about his career, Shaquille O'Neal's career, what this means for him moving forward. Especially, it looks like his time on TV is coming to a close. On broadcasting with NBA on TNT. We'll discuss a lot about Sacramento and what to expect from them in the NCAA tournament. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mehrob Fatemi. Getting into our last segment of the show, we have to pay homage to the GOAT, the best center of all time, in Shaquille O'Neal. Funny enough, it doesn't have to do with him playing on the court. It doesn't have anything to do with him on the broadcast booth, with him and the guys on Inside the NBA, with Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley. This has to do with Shaquille O'Neal agreeing to become the men's basketball general manager at Sacramento State. A guy in Shaquille O'Neal who's we know him as the best center to ever live, the most powerful center to ever play the game of basketball. It's pretty much unanimous on that part, in that argument. But we've seen him be volunteer. He's volunteered to coach his son. He's volunteered to coach basketball teams. He's always been around the youth of the NBA world, the next generation. And for Shaquille O'Neal, it's a great sign for him. We've seen him play on the court in basketball, have a lot of success on the basketball court with 4 championships. We saw him have success in the booth inside the NBA for the last, 15 years now? At least 10 years. We've seen Shaquille 10 to 15 years. And now he goes on the broadcast booth, and with the NBA rights for Inside the NBA switching to ESPN, there have been rumors that the guys are going to disband, that they're going to break up the group, that Ernie Johnson's most likely to split off from the group, and that the rest of the guys as well are going to split off. And this is our first sign outside of Ernie that this group is going to be split up. Shaquille O'Neal agreeing to become the next GM for Sacramento State, to coach this team, to recruit, to bring in the guys needed to talk for NIL, to talk about NIL purposes. Overall, it's great to see Shaquille O'Neal in the NBA world coaching up the next generation of young talent. But this is also a voluntary role for Shaq. His son plays there at Sac State, Shaquille O'Neal. And under coach Mike Bibby, I think this duo could be a great duo in the front office and continue to bring young talent into Sacramento State. To put into perspective, this is in a way this is the basketball comparison to what Deion Sanders did in Colorado. Now, Shaquille O'Neal did not go to a small HBCU and coach his way up, and he is a GM. He did not go to an HBCU like Deion Sanders did, going to Jack State. But Shaquille O'Neal has a lot of knowledge on the game of basketball. He's one of the most talented big men of all time, and he's playing with his son. He's going to coach his son. He's not going to coach his son, but he's going to be working with his son. He's going to bring the players around his son to bring Sacramento State as much success as possible in the near future. And funny enough, they've already done that, bringing in 5-star recruit Mikey Williams. He transferred from UCF, and with the tutelage of Mike Bibby and Shaq, this Mikey Williams is one of the best. He used to be one of the best high school players in the country. He was a 5-star recruit. He is suffering from injury, and he has had a little bit of off the court issues, but he's still one of the best young talents in the league. And Shaq and this group will have him ready to go. I think this is one of those moves that it's a culture standard. It's a culture changer. Shaq will define what goes on in Sacramento State from here on out for the next few years. Mike Bibby has a lot of years coaching in the NCAA. But yeah, this is more about Shaq coaching his son, or not coaching his son, but working with his son, bringing the talent around him, as much talent as possible, as they look to have some success in the March Madness tournament. Plain and simple, there's no other way to slice it but that. And for Shaq, if this is his final season in the NBA, working with inside the NBA, it was a great career for him. It was a great career for him on the court. It was a great career for him in the broadcast booth, in the analyzer room. Now he's taking all of his knowledge that he's seen he's taking his knowledge from the Phil Jacksons and Kobe Bryants of the world. He's taken his knowledge from watching other teams GM and coach their players. He's cultivating all of that evidence, all of that knowledge, mixing it into a stew and bringing it all to Sacramento State to bring Sacramento State as much success as possible in the near future. So major props to him. Shaquille O'Neal continuing to build a Hall of Fame case, not only on the court, but off the court. He will most likely also be a Hall of Famer in the analyzer, in the broadcast world. I believe there is a broadcast Hall of Fame, for example, where the big names like Jim Nance, Stephen A. Smith, Ian Eagle will most likely go there. There's a lot of big names in the broadcast world, and Shaq is one of them, I think. He's one of those voices that when you turn on Inside the NBA, he's one of those guys that you turn it on to listen to. He's one of those entertainment guys. And it's going to be interesting to see if he brings that into Sacramento State. I don't think he will. He shouldn't, if it's me, of course. Like, keep it professional, keep it ready, keep everybody on their toes, everybody ready to go. But with the knowledge that he's picked up on, it would be shocking to me if he did not have success in Sacramento State. But yeah, Sacramento State hasn't really had a whole lot of success in the NBA in the NCAA tournament. I was trying to figure out their record in between the break. Let me find it really quick. But overall, this is one of those teams that they don't have a whole lot of success in the basketball world. There's a lot of better teams. There's the UCLAs. There's a lot of bigger name schools around them, like UCLA, USC. Overall, there's a whole bunch of guys out there that have more success than Sacramento State. They have yet to play in the NCAA D1 tournament since moving up to the Big Sky Conference, but so that pretty much proves what I'm talking about. The last time they were in the Final Four, it was 1962. This is a Sacramento State Hornets team that this is Mike Bibby's first season with the team. I'm not expecting them to have a whole lot of success, but if Shaquille O'Neal can bring good talent and can bring 5-star recruits like Mikey Williams in, like the likes of Shaquille O'Neal, I think this team could have success. I really do. And they haven't made all those Final Four appearances that they had is on the D2 level. So they haven't made any noise in the D1 level. And it would be an unbelievable story if they did. This would be on par with Deion Sanders making the college football playoff if Shaquille O'Neal can pull this off. I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying he won't. It's gonna be. We'll keep an eye on it as the college basketball season kicks off, and as we have more time in the offseason, we can analyze their transfer room. But for now, this is the state of Sacramento State. They have an opportunity here to have some success, to build a culture in Sacramento State. It's going to be interesting to see if they take advantage of it, because Shaquille O'Neal is one of those guys that can set the standard moving forward for your organization, for your team, for your transfer portal. So, we'll see how this all transpires as the college football season begins, as the college football world continues, as the transfer portal continues to make noise. But yeah, that's going to do it for me for this show. It was another unbelievable show as well. It was a tougher fifth segment of the show just because we're so locked into the NBA right now. We truly are so locked into the NBA right now with how close everything is, with the state of it's the second round of it's the quarterfinals of the NBA playoffs, and everything is so unbelievably active. There's so much going on, plain and simple. That sneaking in NCAA basketball, while it can be tough, it's hard to sometimes switch gears just because college basketball hasn't been a thing since March and we are now in May. But thank you guys for another wonderful show. We have another massive show lined up for you guys today. Or we have another packed slate of basketball games tonight. Only one game, unfortunately, with the Warriors and Timberwolves, but it should be a great game, tipping off at 9 o'clock tonight. It should be a great game. So I highly suggest that you watch it if you guys have some free time. If not, if you guys need a recap, you know the guy to find tomorrow at 9 a.m. as always. Thank you guys for tuning into the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to leave a positive review. Whether it's positive, whether it's negative, please let us know what you guys think of the show in the comments below. Let us know what we can improve upon. Let us know what we're doing well, so we can continue to build a good product for you guys and what you guys want to see more of. For more content and updates, please remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. This is the host. My name is Mehrob Fatemi, the host of the GSMC Basketball Podcast, signing off. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your days, and whoever wins tonight, God bless. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your days. Bye-bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to